Well, hi, it's Angela from North Carolina, and we are going to have some fun in the kitchen today. We're going to make Spaghetti Fredo. It's the best thing. It's been sweeping TikTok, and we love it. And I think that if you make it, you'll never make regular spaghetti again. So what I did first, I made a homemade Alfredo sauce. I made the video, and I've got it on my channel. So I've got my homemade Alfredo sauce, and I'm adding it to already cooked noodles, spaghetti noodles. I pre-cooked them and put them in my casserole dish. And I could have mixed this up in a bowl, but why dirty it up? So I'm just going to go ahead and mix my Alfredo sauce in with my noodles. And you don't want it real wet. You just want it just enough that every noodle gets some Alfredo sauce on it. It's so good. I'm going to have the directions and all the ingredients below. This is one of those great dishes that freezes really well, and you can make a great big one. I've made two. I've got one in the oven right now so I can show you what it looks like. But it's the best thing. You know how somebody's sick and you need to take them some food, or somebody's just moved and you got to take them a dish to help them with their new house? You take this and everybody's going to call you and ask for the recipe. So last night I made my homemade spaghetti sauce. I like it the day before. So this is all mixed up. It would have been smoother in a bowl and quicker, but I don't like to wash dishes. I washed enough today. So here I'm going to straighten it out. And then here's my pre-cooked spaghetti sauce. Make any kind of sauce that you want. You can make it with chicken spaghetti sauce, ground beef, turkey. I have made mine with vegan meatballs because I'm a vegetarian. So I made my spaghetti sauce the way I always do, with bell pepper, celery, onion, and garlic. I cooked all my vegetables first. Then I added my meatballs to let them absorb the good vegetable flavors. And then I put my ragu and my Fredo sauce. I use a combination of both. So you see I'm layering a thick layer of my tomato sauce. And of course, if you don't use meatballs, yours would have the ground beef in it. You would probably want to use about a pound and a half, depending on how many casseroles you're going to make. But next time your family wants Italian, try to remember this recipe, because you will love it. You really will. I don't know what it is about that Alfredo sauce. And my Alfredo sauce I make is one without flour, so it doesn't break apart. So it holds up really good. So this freezes so good. So you'll see I'm getting into some meatballs now. We ate spaghetti last night so that I could have my noodles cooked and have my sauce made. I always try to do that when I'm making Spaghetti Fredo. Alright, so now I've got all my meatballs on top. And I've got, oh, I also forgot to mention, I threw a few mushrooms in. I'm not a fan of chewing mushrooms, but the flavor is so good. So I do have some mushrooms in my spaghetti. Well, now I've got spaghetti sauce on the floor. Wheezy, come here. Where's a dog when you need one? So now that I've done this, I'm going to put some Italian cheese on top. Some people use cheddar. I don't like cheddar on spaghetti, never have. So I like to use the Italian blend, as you can see. This cooks for about maybe 35 minutes, 40 minutes. You'll just have to look at it. Everyone's stove is different. You know, it's so hard to tell somebody how long to cook something. It really is. Well, thank you, Betty Sue. Betty Sue's cleaning the floor for me. I have deer that weed and dogs that clean the floor. What a life. Can I need a little bit more? I don't think this is quite cheesy enough. So I'm going to add some fresh Parmesan. Of course, you can grate your Parmesan and it'll be even better. My hands don't work real good, so I have a tendency not to grate a lot of fresh Parmesan. I've got some. I just don't have it grated. So here we go, and I'm going to put this in the oven. Look at there. Spaghetti Fredo. You will love it. I've got my oven preheated because I've got one coming out. Oh, yes. It looks good. Let me get a hot plate. I didn't time this very well. My Spaghetti Fredo is not quite ready, but since the video's finished, I'm going to go ahead and show it to you. You're going to get the general idea. So you'll see that the Fredo sauce is starting to ooze up from the bottom as it cooks. Look at that. Isn't that the prettiest thing you ever saw? I'm going to put this back in. I think it needs about 10 more minutes. So try it sometime. Next time you're going to make spaghetti, give it a shot. Now, of course, you don't have to make homemade Alfredo sauce. Most people just use a jar of store-bought, but I love homemade Alfredo sauce. But usually people have the store-bought on hand. So go ahead and use a jar of that and add it to your bottom. You don't use the whole jar, of course, because you don't want it that wet. You don't want the Alfredo sauce to take over the whole casserole. Well, thanks, everybody. I appreciate you watching so much. Bye-bye.